everyone. Welcome to another episode of the Geek Coast channel. I'm your host, the Wizarding Demigod David, and I hope you're all doing fantastic wherever you are in this universe. Hey guys, it's me again. Yep. Here's another recording. And still tired, just like the previous episode, but I'll try my best to sound alive, even though I'm kind of somewhat not alive, but what you can do when life is busy with work and other things. So, let's give it a shot. Anyways, so if you guys remember from my season 1 broadcasts or episodes, I did like a top 5, top 10 kind of lists, kind of thing. So this is what this episode's going to be. And I think it's going to be fun. It's going to be interesting. Maybe the choices I pick might surprise you on their order and stuff like that. So, yeah, it'll be fun. I think it'll be enjoyable. And it's be something to, maybe you guys can interact. I like to see in the comment section of people, let's interact, see what's your favorite things here and there. So, the category of this top 5 list is my top 5 favorite StarFighters in sci-fi. So, the rules of this is simple. It has to be a single craft starfighter. It can be both in space and in air, or it can go into a planet's orbit or atmosphere and still work the same way and stuff like that. And also, it can only be one starfighter per franchise. So, Star Wars, you have way too many fighters. I'm sorry, but there can only be one that will make this list and so forth. And also, when I thought of doing this beforehand, I was like, this is easy. There's plenty of sci-fi IPs I can do it, especially with the rules I set myself on. And it turned out to be actually very hard. I had 3 right away. I was like, sweet, I got 3 right away. And I was like, I can find 2 more. Yeah, that turned into like a couple days of me pulling my hair out of my head, going through the internet on my phone, computer, everywhere, just to find my particular fighters. And I think I've done it. And honestly, these are starfighters I've seen in their show. So it's not something like, I have to watch something to make sure that I will like it if it's in the show. No, I've seen these shows. I pick these particular starfighters from each of these franchise because I thought design, they look cool. Were they practical, or they serve like something that would, be more than just from a TV show or movie. Like they transition. They, they show up more in other IPs and stuff like that, or books, video games, and stuff. So, anyways, so those are my rules. This is what I'm doing. So here it is, my top 5 favorite starfighters from sci-fi. So at number 5, this one is one of the ones that were pretty hard to find, and it took me a while to do a little bit of research here and there just to make sure it fits within my parameters of why you are on this list. And this is the Cosmos Tiger 2 from Star Blazers Space Battleship Yamato. And I believe it's the sequel series. So it's, if I remember correctly, the anime itself came out a while back ago, probably 70s/80s, somewhere in those realms. But it did make a little comeback again, especially a kind of like not a revise, but like a retelling of the series with better animation, voice acting, and stuff like that. So I did watch it. I thought it was really cool and stuff. And it's very interesting to see like a spaceship or battleship designed from a World War II battleship that can go into space. But it's a very good anime and stuff like that. Something definitely if you want to binge watch, since there's like that particular series and then a sequel series, which the fighter that is on this list I think is from the sequel series, if I'm not mistaken. Might have to do another rewatch of it just to clarify myself. But anyways, that's where it is. It's a cool fighter. Basically it's a space superiority fighter. I'm pretty sure it can fly in atmosphere, the way it's designed, if I remember correctly seeing the design of it. but it's really cool. It has basically the World War II touch of like, or not World War II touch, just seeing, kind of like, fight like advancements of fighters and like in a particular like, family tree and stuff like that. Like it has that 80s style fighter jets that you see like maybe like in Vietnam or in Korea and stuff like that, but just a little bit more modernized. So it was kind of cool, very interesting and stuff like that. And basically, as it suggests, it's a space superiority fighter. So it's really cool. I liked it a lot. If I remember correctly, watching the series, which I watched a long time ago, probably about a couple years or so, something like that. But yeah, it's a cool fighter. I like it. And give this anime a try. I liked it. It was fun, enjoyable to watch. So, yeah, that's number 5. So, here we go. On to the next one. Number 4. I don't know why I'm doing that, but whatever. Number 4 is a hidden gem starfighter from a particular series that did not last long. I want to say it was maybe on the Sci-Fi Channel, possibly on Fox. I don't remember which particular channel it was on, but it was a interesting series, and the fighter they have is actually a really cool fighter design, and also how its weaponry and stuff like that was really cool. So this fighter is the Hammerhead fighter from the TV series, a short-lived TV series, Space Above and Beyond. So the Hammerhead is a really cool fighter design, and as its design looks, once you see the picture of it, it's literally shaped like a hammerhead shark. So it's actually kind of cool, pretty interesting. I like the gun design where the gun's I think below the front of the fighter, and the gun can swivel its way like left to right and stuff like that. So the fighter itself doesn't have to turn and hit its enemy. It can move in a certain way, but yet the gun can still follow where the enemy fighter is at. So I thought it was really cool itself. And the design of the ship itself is really cool. Like the cockpit is actually detachable. Like when you see them entering their ships, you see them first entering the cockpit module, and then they descend, and it becomes part of the Hammerhead fighter. Then they launch and stuff. It's really cool. And also, I will say this: it has probably the best one-on-one dueling fighter sequences of any series. One of the best, not the best, but one of the best. Just the way like how the story goes, to see one of our main heroes versus apparently a superior alien fighter that can literally jam radar and you're getting hit out of nowhere. But the sequence itself is really good. So that's why that's number 4. Not just because of that sequence, but it's a unique and cool fighter. I liked it. It's really cool and stuff. Alright, so on to the next one, which the last two are, which I may have said at least on number 5, were kind of hard to find, kind of hard to be like, where am I going to go with this list? But these 3 are definitely the easiest ones. They are definitely within my top 3 favorite. And I think some of you will be surprised where one of these fighters, which I'm about to introduce, is at. So at number 3, we have the X-Wing Starfighter from Star Wars. Yeah, I bet you guys thought that this would be number 1. Think again. No, the X-Wing is really cool. It's a cool design fighter, very unique-ish as the design of it. Like, the wings extend into like a X shape and stuff. And also, the fighter itself is a very, like, multi-role, well, not multi-role, but it can be very adaptable and stuff like that. Like, it can be in atmosphere. Has a jump engine small enough where it can jump from multiple systems and stuff like that. Astromech droid that can help out with making the cord or the navigation data to go jumping and stuff. And also the repair the Starfire on site in case, if it's not destroyed by like one hit by Vader. But yeah, no, it's like a very adaptable, very resourceful fighter. And what's makes this one on number 3 on the list is also like it has transcend from like the Star Wars movies into like video games, comics, books, and so on and so forth. Like this fighter is basically the face of Star Wars. When you think of Star Wars, you probably think of the X-Wing up there. But also some people will say, like, well, the Millennium Falcon, TIE Fighter, and so on and so forth. But, like, no, the X-Wing Starfighter is definitely me one of my favorite fighters in the Star Wars franchise. And honestly, out of all the fighters, that's the one I'm going to pick. It's a cool fighter. I love the X-Wing. It's awesome. And yeah, the design of it is pretty cool. Very unique design. Something that you never really see or think of and stuff like that. So, on to number 2. So, number 2 is the Colonial Viper. And not just any particular mark of these Vipers, just the Viper itself from Battlestar Galactica. So I'm not going to go the Colonial Viper from the original series that came out like the late 70s and 80s. I'm going to go with the Revive series that came out in like the 2000s. I can't remember where in the 2000s, but I'm going with that one. And what makes this one really cool, especially like the different marks, which I think there's like 3 different versions of the Colonial Viper you see in that series, is how almost realistically this fighter can be in both in space and in atmosphere. Like, it's really cool. Like, the show itself does a really good job of like the fighter doing all these maneuvers in space and stuff. And it's really cool. And also the Viper itself is a really cool design, a very iconic sci-fi starfighter that if you go on Google or somewhere and looked up like, well, what are the best starfighters to see, the Colonial Viper is definitely up there a lot. So I really like the Colonial Viper a lot. It's definitely a more, like I said, it's like a more realistic jet fighter design that can work in space. So it's kind of interesting, kind of cool. And I thought it deserves to be number 2, just because the close of realism, and also like it's our main heroes, but also you do see the fighter get destroyed many times against the Cylon Raiders in the newer series and also in the older series too. But like I said, the Colonial Viper is really cool. I liked it a lot. So here we go. This is now number 1, and drumroll please. Terrible. Sorry, I'm not doing that ever again. I apologize. Anyways, number 1 is the Star Fury from a cult classic sci-fi series that came out, I want to say like mid 90s to early 2000s, somewhere around there. Babylon 5. And what makes the Star Fury really cool is by far out of all these starfighters that I've just said, and also including any starfighters that you can even think of, this is the most realistic starfighter you will see in any sci-fi IP, and it's really, really, really awesome. It's a great design. The fighter itself is literally shaped like an X, so to me, or it gives me that vibe of that X-Wing vibe. Like, that's really cool. But what makes this fighter interesting and awesome is if you see the verniers where it is on the engines, which is on the tip of each of the wings of the X-Wings, that fighter can do any type of maneuver. Like, it can go like 360, it can turn a 180 around, it can do all these crazy maneuvers at a crazy, well, not crazy, but at the same speed as it's flying and stuff like that. And also, if you watch Battle 5, which I think is on HBO Max, if they haven't got rid of it, if you see how these fighters like fight, you can see them do all these maneuvers. Like, you see them like fire like 1-2 shots, and then all of a sudden they'll just turn and then fire down to where the enemy fighter is going. It's a really cool, and the show itself is way ahead of its time. Way, way, way ahead of its time. I may have to do another list of something like shows that are ahead of time. But yeah, the Star Fury is really cool, and the pilot itself is not seating. He's actually technically standing, which is supposed to help with, the G-forces they face whenever they're doing these maneuvers and stuff like that. And the Star Fury, which is it's a space purity fighter, it cannot do atmospheric flights just because of its design. So it's primarily a starfighter, which is interesting because the other fighters that I talk about on this, they can do atmospheric flights. They can fight. They can enter a world and fight within its atmosphere. The Star Fury cannot do that. But what gives it its edge is the very realism that this fighter itself, and some point in the whatever blah 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 future our race can see, that can be a plausible fighter. And I believe, if I remember correctly, I think NASA even talked to the creators of Babylon 5 about how they come up with this design of this fighter and what could they use in potential future spacecrafts or fighters, stuff like that. So yeah, the Starfury is number one, and yeah, so a little longer than I thought this video would be, but you know what? It happens. Whatever. But I hope you guys enjoy it and stuff like that. This will probably be my not last recording, but my only recording, at least for right now. I do have other ideas and stuff like that, and I've been trying real hard to get a friend of mine to at least co-host with me and just see where it goes. But you know, people are stubborn, whatever. But anyways, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video, and as always, give it a like, comment, and also a share. And if you have not subscribed yet, what are you doing? What's wrong with you? Why you haven't even done this yet? Anyways, guys, enjoy the video, enjoy life, and until next time, my friends, stay geeky.